Well, welcome back. Episode 2 of Rivals in association with StubHub. Last time we had a great time. Lee Selby, George Cambosa ahead of their IBF final eliminator. This time, there's a fight that actually hasn't even been made yet. A lot of people talking about on social media, a guy that we know very well, who loves to wind people up, make people take the bait, Ohara Davies, and another one who did take the bait, Anthony Fowler. These two talking about a potential fight together. Who knows where we're going to get that when we come out of lockdown. First, I want to talk about where you guys are at in your careers. OD, it's been a while. It's been a while.
How you doing, Ed?
Go on, give it to me. I threw you under a bus. Come on.
Listen, I haven't seen you, I haven't spoken to you in about 2.5 years. But you know what? I'm back from under the bus. OD is back from under the bus. I'm still here. I'm still making noise. I'm still knocking guys out. Hell yeah, and that's going to continue.
Well, listen, the history is the history. I do always have a kind of soft spot for you, OD, because when you used to come in the office, you used to tell me the funniest stories, mate. And it's funny because I look at you as still that same guy. And I know you are still that same guy, but that was quite a few years ago. And we get to a stage now, you're only 28, but a lot of those big fights kind of pass you by. And you are a little bit of a maverick because at times people might have thought you were done. Now coming up, you're in the final of the Golden Tournament against Tyrone McKenna. It's a massive opportunity for you. Big fight. Funnily enough, another grudge fight for you coming up. But do you feel like you've sort of reinvented yourself over that period?
I believe I have. That's why I really want to thank MTK Global, because if they didn't come and take over, I don't know where my boxing career would be right now. And there was at a certain time when even I thought I was done. But I came back. I managed to win my last few fights, like when everyone thought I was done. And I'm back on the big stage. I'm in a Golden Contract final. I got Tyrone McKenna next. Shouldn't be no problem. Should be easy work. Piece of cake. And then I'm back up there.
You fancy that fight? I mean, look, Tyrone's done well to get to the final. A little bit of a controversial victory maybe last time out against Moon. It was a close fight. We also know that you did miss 140 last time. Where's your weight at right now? Are you going to be comfortable coming back in at 140 for that fight?
Listen, people didn't know. I missed weight on purpose for that fight. I actually missed weight purposely because I wanted his team to think that I'm not serious about it, that my head's not in the game. That I've been struggling to make weight. That's what I wanted them to think, and they bit. And so I said to myself, listen, I'm gonna make them think that I'm not serious about it. But when the fight happens, I'm gonna knock him out, and that's what I've done. I've knocked him out.
Do you think you finished Tyrone McKenna inside the distance? It's a great little grudge match. Good fight.
I believe if I don't knock out Tyrone McKenna, I'm not winning the fight. I've learned a lesson from the Frenchman, and I won't be letting the fight go off the points. I'm training harder than ever. I'll be making weight. I can make 140 fairly easily, and I will knock out Tyrone McKenna one way or listen. I will knock him out 100%. I will find a way.
It's a great fight. MTK Golden Tournament coming up. That's the final. Before we bring you two together, Fowler, I want to talk about you. A bizarre fight last time out, which I had to pay up for. You had an easy night. And I always say to fighters, when you get that kind of night, I know it's frustrating when you've done a camp, but enjoy that payday because there's plenty of tougher ones to come. Move down with Shane McGuigan. You're in a good place right now.
Yeah, I'm really happy, mate. Everything's gone great with Shane. It was a great move for me. Obviously, last fight I couldn't show much, but I think people see a slight difference in there. I don't know about yourself personally, but a few people said I looked a bit more fluent, a bit faster on my feet, which I'm working on. So onwards and upwards.
You took quite an unusual move for a prospect to move quicker than others. You jumped into that Scott Fitzgerald fight. It was a fight that you fancied that you'd win. Of course, you lost that fight as well. Quite difficult for a prospect to take a loss at that stage in their career. We've seen people probably underrate Scott Fitzgerald going into that fight. Good wins for him to win the British title against Cheeseman, etc. But for you, still a burning desire to avenge that defeat.
Yeah, definitely. I get asked about it every single day, so I'm always getting reminded constantly, and that name's in my head. But since I haven't used a shade now, I'm not as desperate for the fight as what I once was. Like, I know Scott's having a lot of personal problems and stuff, so if he did get vacated and I did box someone like James Metcalf, beat Metcalf, and a British title in my head, then I've had the last laugh anyway because I'm ahead of my career. So my career's not about Scott Fitzgerald, but that is a big fight, and the hatred is real, same as your little mate next to you there. I'm a real person. I don't put it on for the cameras. I don't pretend not to like someone for whatever reason. I don't like someone for a reason. I'm just straight, and if I do like them, I'll say that.
Well, I think one thing that's interesting when we go to a potential fight between you two is, for the last year, everyone's talking about the Scott Fitzgerald rematch, and we know that he has got some problems to overcome. And all of a sudden, Ohara Davies, which is a guy that, obviously because of the weight difference, when we sit down and talk, we've never once mentioned Ohara Davies as part of the plans. But we live in a world where fans dictate the fights, and right now, this is a fight that people want to see. What is it that has ticked you off about Ohara Davies? Is it a new thing? Is it an old thing? Is it?
Now, obviously, you know the history. I won't go on about it, but I didn't like him over that as it was. And then when I lost that fight with Fitzgerald, I always remember going on Twitter and seeing him writing some little snarly comment that he was praying for me downfall. And I thought, you little snake. So I didn't say nothing to the time because I was obviously licking my wounds over the Fitzgerald loss. But I've always remembered it, and I always thought, you little rat. And then the other day, again, I'm lying in bed with me missus, and I just seen a tweet from him. I don't know where someone typed me in, and I thought, lad, you again, really? So I had to just tell him, straight this time.
OD, you have a good way of doing this, where you sort of bark at people's ankles, and before you know it, they're biting it. Your thoughts on Anthony Fowler? I mean, is this just to create noise? Is this just it seems like it's quite deep, quite personal here?
Listen, I saw all the commotion online about Anthony Fowler, people saying this, people saying that. Listen, I saw what Anthony Fowler said, and it wasn't wrong. I can understand where he comes from and what he said on Twitter, but I just used that as an opportunity to get at him. Do you know why? Because I don't like him. I've always thought Anthony Fowler's a prick. I've always thought that Anthony Fowler is a prick. I've never liked him. Let me finish. I've always thought Anthony Fowler's a prick. I've never liked him. So as soon as I got any...
Why is that, OD?
Because I just don't like him. I just don't like him. I just don't like the guy. He's a prick. And you know what? And I'm the kind of guy where if I don't like you, I'm not going to bite my tongue. I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to find any opportunity. And listen, I've been waiting for him to say one thing wrong. And he gave me the opportunity. And I used it. And you know what? I'm not the only one that feels that way. Since I've said what I've said about him, I've had many people in the boxing industry send me texts, messages saying, "Oh, I'm so glad I hate Anthony Fowler's car." This is everyone. No one likes this guy. But you know what? People are too scared to come out and say, "I think you're a prick." People are too scared to come out and say, "I don't like you." You know what? I don't give a toss. I can swear on here, right?
Yeah, well, it's a bit late now anyway, but go on, yeah.
Listen, I don't give a toss. If I don't like you, I'm going to say straight up, I don't like you. And that's what I've done. And you know what? I'm not finished yet. Listen, I see Anthony Fowler online promoting all that CBD oil. Listen, I got something better. I went down my local Morrison's last night and I got olive oil. You know why? Because olive oil works much better wonders than that damn CBD oil he sells. Listen, CBD oil ain't doing nothing. Listen, CBD oil ain't doing nothing. Okay? He used it in the lead up to the Scott Fitz fight, and you know what? Fitz, they would still whooped him. And listen, Scott ain't using no CBD oil. So you know what I said to myself? CBD oil. Listen, all that CBD oil ain't doing nothing. Listen, it's all about olive oil right here. Listen, I'm gonna start selling this oil. Anthony Fowler, I'll sell you this olive oil.
Listen, before I go back to
£5.99 a pack, £5.99 a pack. Morrison's. You know why? Because it's working better wonders than that damn CBD oil. What crap you've been trying to sell everyone? Okay.
OD, before I go back to Fowler,
I'm very angry right now. I'm very angry. Very angry.
Before I go back to Fowler with a right to reply, let's talk about the boxing. What do you think of Anthony Fowler, the fighter?
Listen, Anthony Fowler's a bum. Okay? Anthony Fowler's a bum. And he's got nothing over me but size. Size, and he's got strength. Speed, he ain't got no speed. The guy's a bit robotic. Listen, he's got speed, he's got size. As long as I can take them both away from him, the guy's trash. That's why he ain't doing nothing but fighting against bums, and he beats bums. The first good fighter that he fought against, The guy lost every round in that fight. He got his ass spanked. He got his ass whooped. He ain't. Listen, Andy Fowler hasn't beat anyone that's even a contender. I have. Yes, I've lost a few fights against people that are world class, but Andy Fowler hasn't beat anyone even average. You can't put my name and his name in the same sentence, and that's why I don't mind going up to 150 pounds and I will knock him out in his own hometown. The same way I've done to Truman, the same way I've done to Tom Farrell, the same way I've done to Terry Matthews. If Andy Fowler wants to be next, listen, he can be next. He can get it just like they got it. They all got their ass spanked, and he gonna get his ass spanked too.
Fowler, firstly, let's talk about OD the person. Obviously, you've got a lot of ammunition there to go back on, but talk about Ohara Davies the person before we talk about Ohara Davies the fighter. He's very opinionated. I don't know with OD sometimes whether he's just trying to get you to take the bait, but some harsh words there.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, but I've got my fair share of haters, mate, but I think I'm right in saying that guy's here to be the whole fucking planet. No one likes that kid, mate. He's still there, yeah. Got a bad attitude. He's quitting a fight. He showed his character in that fight. It got hard in there, and he turned his back like a coward. And as a fighter, that's one thing I'd never do. He's talking about Scott Fit. It was one of the best fights of the year. I lost by a point, mate. Come on, fella. And yeah, mate, the guy's an idiot. He used to come down GB sparring years ago, so we had like a bit of a mutual respect back then. Before I knew what a tit he was. And I watched him spar people like Joe Cordina, Josh Kelly, and he got absolutely schooled every single round. But I knew then when he's boxing Taylor, I knew he'd get exposed, and that's what happened, mate. He got smashed, dropped, and then give up. So that's all I can say about him.
You seem to use that Josh Taylor fight quite a lot in your ammunition online, mate, against him. Is
mate,
that?
I know as a fighter, the one thing you've got is your pride as a fighter. You walk the rings, you've got that warrior attitude. He show what he is, mate. You can talk what you want online, social media. You speak in the ring, your character comes through, and you see me get dropped, got right back up. Within a minute, Scott was the back foot. That's what I'm about. I'm not about, my nose and turn me back like a little shithouse. That was it, mate. And he can speak all he wants. He'll always be remembered as the guy who give up in a fight, because that's what he's done.
OD, last time out, one of the most memorable press conferences I've ever done was Hay Bellew in Liverpool. You were up there, of course. You fought Derry Matthews on that card, and you just, I did fear for you a little bit up there. These people, they don't really like you up there. Are you prepared to go to Liverpool?
Listen,
and fight Anthony Fowler in his backyard?
I will go there. I don't need no security guards, because those guys are all talk. They're all talk. They ain't doing nothing. They're all talk. They come out and say, we hate Ohara. Listen, there'll be 1,000 of them. No one come near me. They can't touch me. All they do is that they talk and they shout and they cheer. They're all bums as well, Andy Fowler and his fans. They're all bums. They ain't doing nothing. I will go back up there. I will have a conference there. I won't bring no friends, no family, no security guards, because you know why? Those guys all talk. They ain't got, listen, those guys ain't got nothing. Nothing. And then I'll knock him out. The same way I've done to Tom Farrell. And you know what? I remember fighting against Tom Farrell. Where did I fight him again? It was in an Echo, right? It was in an Echo Arena, up in Liverpool. And, all of his fans were sat there cheering him on. And you know what happened after I knocked him out? I was like, I tried to make peace with him. And you know what? I was getting beer thrown at me. They were throwing cups at me, throwing beer at me. And I felt quite disrespected. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to come back one day. And I'm going to knock out another one of your fighters. And Andy Fowler presented a good opportunity for me to do that. Those fans up in Liverpool ain't doing nothing. Nothing.
So let's talk about the weight particularly, and we'll go on to Anthony about this in a second, because I think it's probably more important to Fowler in terms of coming down a weight division and a fighter going up, although you probably will have a little bit of a weakness because you are going to be the smaller man in the ring. This is almost a platform, Ohara, where we can almost make these fights. Is 150 the number? I mean, again, we'll go on to Fowler, and Fowler is tight at 154. We know his preparation is always meticulous, but 150 is your number, OD, for this fight. You feel that that's a fair negotiation point for this fight?
Listen, at first I said I'll go up by £7, he'll come down by £7, but he's a bit scared, he's a bit afraid, even though he can. I remember I've seen a tweet that Andy Fowler sent like a few years ago. He was like, I can come down to 147 easily. And I've got that tweet on my phone. I've got that tweet. So he said I can come down to 147 easily. But now apparently I can't make 147. I can only make 150. Man, you're a liar. You're a liar. And you're talking some shit. And you're talking some shit. I know it can get down to 147, but you know what I said? I don't mind giving him that extra £3. I will come up to 150. He come down to 150. I will go up £10. He can come down by only £4. I don't mind. And we can do it in his own backyard. And I'll still knock him out.
Fowler, talking about the weight, I know that there were talks at one point about you going from 54 to 60. You had a catchweight fight and you found it very easy to make that catchweight, and you decided 154 was the number for you. 150 is going to be hard work, but we could get to a stage where this fight could have a lot of meat on it.
Yeah, listen, I'm deadly serious about boxing him. You know, I don't just talk about game, I'll back it up. I spoke to Shane about it and he was saying 150 is too light and 152 is the lightest, but I reckon I could do 150 myself personally, but at the end of the day, Shane is the boss. I listen to him, he's my coach, and I listen to his advice over my own. But mate, I just love to smash his head. You know, even when I'm not talking now, he's just annoying me. He's a proper deluded guy. Like, I remember him saying as well about people like trying to be little people on minimum wage, saying stuff like £7 an hour bums. Like, who's even hears me? Because he can box, the little dickhead. Do you know what I mean? Don't ever belittle no one in the world, and I'd love to just smash him, just for myself and for my city.
Obviously, we know about great nights at the Echo Arena. This would be quite ferocious.
Mate, I reckon I'll 3-4 rounds, just wipe him out. Obviously, the first few rounds, he'd be lighter and quick, and he'd be hard to nail down, but as soon as I catch him in the chin, mate, them little skinny legs are going to give away, and it'll be good night.
Listen, man. And if I was moaning and complaining about coming down by £4, listen, I'll come up by £10, double what he's, what he has to come down to. I told him I'll come up by £10, and you're moaning about coming down £4. Come on, man. Easy work. Listen, if you don't want to fight, then just say I don't want to fight. Just say I don't want to fight. I don't want to come down by £4. I'm a scared little prick. Wait, Eddie, I'm watching something on the TV because you know what? Before this whole Zoom call, I was at home a bit bored. Let me show you guys what I'm watching on the TV right now. Let me show you guys what I'm watching on the TV right now.
You been getting up though, fella? You're getting up, right? You see me looking away, lad? Was I looking away from you?
Listen.
Was I looking away? Was I, bro?
I've been playing that all morning.
I want to ask you about the Josh Taylor fight, OD, because there are a lot of people. I was there that night. It was, oh mate, it was horrible for all of us because we talk about the lines. Then I mean, you were right in it, you know.
Yeah. But
you have had criticism about that fight. About
I'll talk about that fight.
Go on.
Okay. I was in a hard fight that my preparation wasn't good for. But I thought, listen, from where I come from, I've had nothing being a kid, and I fought Dave Matthews. I got paid quite a bit. I bought an Audi A5. I started getting females. I was living life. Me and my coach never sat down and watched any of his fights. I never watched him once before the fight. I never watched him once. I thought, you know what, I'm going to walk through this bum. Just like I beat everyone else, I'm going to beat this guy. So you know what, I never watched him. I was like, gone to different restaurants, different hotels with girls. I started doing all this strength work. So in the fight, I was big and stiff. I had no legs. All the acid. No excuses. I lost the fight fair and square, which is why after the fight, I went in. It's like I went up to him and I said, I lost the fight fair and square. You've won. But you know what? At the end of the day, I've got to put my health first. If I'm in a fight, if I can't breathe, broken nose, I can't breathe, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to live to fight another day. I'm going to live to fight another day. I don't care what anyone says. I would rather be not dead and people say that I'm dead and have a few people say that, that I'm a quitter. I would rather that than die in there. I'm not boxing to die. I'm boxing to live. And you know what I said? I'm going to live to fight another day. 2 months later, I came up to Liverpool, knocked out Tom Farrell in Liverpool in front of his own fans and took his WBA title.
But are you prepared to go through the well? This is the question. Listen, for a non-fighter like me, that's the most sensible thing I've heard. But how deep are you prepared to go? Because I know. Listen, one thing I know about Fowler is he will not quit. He will not quit. How deep are you prepared to go in Liverpool to beat this man?
Okay. As an amateur, I only had 18 fights. I turned pro having only 18 fights as an amateur. I had never been in a hard fight. I never experienced hardship. I never fought in any big championships as an amateur. I was an amateur with 18 fights. I was an amateur novice. I turned pro. Taylor was my first hard fight. And being inexperienced, I've done what I shouldn't have done, which me and Sims, which me and your dad sat down in the Matchroom office, spoke about. I got told off. But you know what? I've learned and I've grown from that loss. And I've learned, and I can say hand on heart, it won't happen again. If me and Anthony Fowler fight, I'm prepared to die in that ring. I am prepared to die in a ring against Anthony Fowler. Listen, I will come in there, bring in my olive oil, and I'm going to knock him out in front of his own fans. And you know what I'm going to do after that? You know what I'm going to do after that? I'm going to sell this oil. I'm going to sell my oil.
Good luck, lad.
£5.99. I'm going to sell it to Anthony Fowler for £10.99 a bottle.
Fowler, before we go, we're going to hear from both of you guys. I'm going to start with you, Ant.
He ain't nothing but a bum. Nothing but a bum.
Chill out, lad.
And obviously, for me, I see Ohara fighting Tyrone McKenna in July or August. I believe you're going to have another fight there. And, you know, the two options for you at the back end of the year when the crowds return are Scott Fitzgerald and Ohara Davies. Finally, just confirmation from you. If we get this, you know, the points of everything right, you're up for this fight, you do this in Liverpool, you're ready to take Ohara Davies out in front of your home fans.
100%. Hopefully, if you can get me and Scott in the ring, I'll hopefully beat Scott this time. If he beats Tyrone, I'd hope Tyrone smashes him because I like Tyrone and I hope Tyrone smashes him. But regardless, at the end of the year, I'll fight him, no problem, mate.
I mean, certainly if he loses to Tyrone, the fight is still there. But if he beats Tyrone McKenna in that tournament, Fowler O'Hara Davies becomes a
fight. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, mate. Mate, he talks a good game, don't he? Give him his due. Talks a good game about our dying in the ring, this and that. He's talking about a broken nose. Ask anyone on Team GB. When I boxed in the World Championships, the quarterfinals, I had a broken nose, I had a perforated eardrum, and I had a broken hand going to the ring, and I still won. And I beat the European champion now from Germany, Stefan Hartel, with a broken nose. So ask him about that, mate. He can talk a good talk. But
okay, let's talk about that.
I get hard in there, kid. You look to the corner and you look away to quit. But deep down, you're a shit house. You can't change what you are, lad. You're not a fighting man like me, kid. You're a little shit house. You bullied your kids at your light water because you're a big, strong lad, long arms. But me, I'm bigger, stronger, and my heart's 10 times bigger than yours, kid.
Okay, we'll see about that.
Ohara, finally from you, we could talk all day on this, but we're going to give you the last word because I think you're going to get it whatever happens. But words from Fowler, you've got a fight to take care of. MTK Golden Tournament, great fight on Sky Sports. But if you can beat Tyrone McKenna, this fight becomes a huge fight for later in the year.
Listen, in the Golden Contract Finals, Tyrone McKenna's going to be easy work. Tyrone McKenna ain't nothing. Tyrone McKenna's a bum as well. He's a bum, and I'm going to knock him out. And after that, I want Anthony Fowler. At £150, I'll come up by £10. He'll come down by £4. I will knock him out, and I'll shut him up for life. After I knock him out, I want to hear him tweet nothing. I don't want to see him selling all that CBD oil bull crap. Because that's all it is, bull crap. CBD oil ain't curing shit. Ain't doing shit for nobody. Okay? Like I said, this is what it's all about. Olive oil.
Put it away, lad. I told you.
£5.99. Okay? £5.99 olive oil is doing me better wonders than that CBD oil you've been selling.
Okay, good luck.
Let's get it. £150. Let's go.
Luck,
I'm ready. Right,
well, guys, I just want to say thank you for coming on. Thank you for keeping it cleanish. Respect to you both. I know that we all want boxing to come back. We know that Ohara Davies has got the MTK Golden Tournament final coming up on Sky Sports. We've got Anthony Fowler coming back at the end of the summer, possibly even against Scott Fitzgerald. But for me, I'd love to see it. Liverpool, I'm not even sure this city's ready for this fight. Thanks for joining us, Rivals in association with StubHub.